What if I told you that booking a brutal 24-hour flight across the globe to South America could actually like leave more money in your bank account than taking a quick weekend trip right next door?
I mean, honestly, it sounds like bad math.
Yeah.
We're sort of conditioned to believe that distance equals expense, right?
Right, totally.
Like you assume stepping off a plane into this vibrant foreign culture is just going to drain your savings.
Yeah, but welcome to this deep dive. Today, we are hacking global travel economics. We're looking at a July 2025 article from Skyscanner India that reveals, honestly, a completely different way to look at your passport.
It's a great source.
It really is. The source outlines 7 spectacular countries where the Indian rupee holds remarkable strength. We're talking about destinations where you can experience genuine luxury, deep cultural immersion, and adventure, but like all while staying strictly on a budget.
Yeah, and our mission today is to build you, the listener, a highly curated, value-packed itinerary. We can examine exactly where your money stretches the furthest and, what you should do when you get there.
Exactly.
Because a currency strength isn't just about abstract numbers on a ticker. It's a tangible gateway. We aren't just listing cheap places. We're breaking down how global markets open up entirely different corners of the globe for the savvy traveler.
Okay, let's unpack this. Traveling overseas usually comes with this huge side of financial anxiety. You sit down at a cafe, look at the menu, try to convert the price of a sandwich back to rupees in your head, and
And you panic.
yeah, you realize you just blew your whole daily budget. But picking the right destination completely flips that. So let's look at the lowest hanging fruit first, which is the proximity advantage. We're starting in our Asian backyard with Sri Lanka and Indonesia.
Right, dealing with the Sri Lankan rupee and the Indonesian rupiah. That is the logical starting point, really.
Because it's so close.
Exactly. When you minimize that geographic distance, you drastically reduce the friction of airfare. That allows you to maximize the currency advantage, like immediately when you arrive.
And Sri Lanka has completely transformed in that regard. The source notes that Colombo isn't just a layover city anymore.
No, not at all.
It's not just a place where you sleep for a few hours and leave. I mean, you've got this striking visual of the distinctive Lotus Tower dominating the cityscape. Down on the ground, you can explore the quaint Dutch hospital precinct.
Which is fantastic.
It's packed with chic cafes. You can go shopping at Barefoot or test your bargaining skills at the Peta Market. It's almost like Colombo used to be this quick appetizer, but it turned out to be so good that it became the main course.
That's a great way to put it.
And then you can completely change the scenery by heading to the Hill Country. You go up to Nuwara Eliya and suddenly you're unwinding in these endless tea plantations with a piping hot cup of tea.
What's fascinating here is how these two countries offer a dual value proposition.
Yeah.
You aren't just getting favorable exchange rates.
Right.
You're getting this massive variety of experiences, from colonial Dutch architecture to rich natural landscapes, all packed into highly accessible islands.
But I do have to ask, if Colombo is suddenly this chic destination, doesn't modernization usually destroy the currency advantage?
You'd think so, yeah.
Usually once a city gets chic, it gets super expensive.
Well, the mechanics of a localized service economy are what save you here. You aren't just getting a favorable numerical exchange rate for the rupee. You're accessing an economy where things are priced relative to domestic wages, not Western tourist benchmarks.
Oh, I see.
So even as Colombo modernizes, the underlying cost remains grounded in the local economic reality.
Okay, and that applies perfectly to Indonesia as well. The article pitches Indonesia as the ultimate value for money destination.
It really is.
You get this incredible mix: sandy beaches, turquoise water, lush forests, ancient temples. And the source specifically highlights getting rejuvenating massages or drinking that famously dark, rich Kopi Luwak coffee.
Which perfectly illustrates the point. In a place with a dominant currency, a daily massage or specialty coffee is a huge luxury expenditure.
Yeah, that adds up fast.
But in Indonesia, the strength of the rupee against the rupiah converts those luxuries into everyday experiences.
So we've established how proximity works in our favor. Let's move from island neighbors to mainland Southeast Asia. We're talking Cambodia and Laos.
Right, the Cambodian riel and the Lao kip.
Here's where it gets really interesting. The rupee unlocks these incredibly dense historical sites here without the overwhelming crowds. The imagery the source gives for Cambodia is breathtaking.
It's stunning.
You're walking past rows of golden Buddha statues, Monks in bright orange robes are carrying these bright yellow umbrellas through ancient, crumbling stone temple gates.
It's so vivid.
And obviously, you have the magic of a sunrise at Angkor Wat, but it's more than that. You have Siem Reap and Phnom Penh, the beaches at Otrais, and spotting rare river dolphins at Crete.
There's a lot of depth there.
And then you cross into Laos, and the vibe in Vientiane is just incredibly warm. You've got multi-tiered turquoise waterfalls, lip-smacking food, and Luang Prabang, which is a whole UNESCO heritage site. But the source explicitly notes Laos has half the tourist rush of Thailand.
Half, which is the critical data point.
I mean, does that make Laos the indie band of Southeast Asia?
The indie band.
Yeah, like you get all the incredible quality, the Buddhist temples, the amazing food, without the mainstream sellout crowds.
That is an excellent analogy.
But let me play devil's advocate. Half the tourists means fewer hotels, less competition. Shouldn't that drive prices up?
You'd think so with standard logic, but global tourism has this dynamic of artificial tourist inflation.
Okay, what does that mean?
When a country like Thailand gets tens of millions of tourists, entire districts decouple from the local cost of living. They inflate to capture high-spending foreign capital.
Oh, so prices detach from reality.
Exactly. But because Laos and Cambodia have fewer crowds, that massive decoupling hasn't occurred. Fewer crowds don't just mean better photos. It means local prices haven't been artificially inflated.
Right.
The kip and reel stretch further because the local economies still cater to authentic everyday life.
Okay, so a lack of commercialization keeps prices low. But what happens when we introduce massive travel friction? Let's cross the globe to South America, Colombia, and Paraguay.
This requires a very different calculation.
Definitely. A long-haul flight is a huge upfront cost. But the source says the currency strength in these nations flips that assumption. In Colombia, you are dealing with Colombian dollars.
Yes, explicitly Colombian dollar.
And it's a treasure trove. You get the towering Andes, Caribbean coasts, and Amazonian jungles. Bogota has this chic vibe, especially La Candelaria.
It's culturally very rich.
The source paints this picture of a giant cross overlooking a stunning coastal skyline. Plus the coffee culture, sipping coffee in cafes or taking a quick day trip to a plantation in Fusagasugao.
The geographical density is remarkable.
It is. It's like a buy one, get three free deal. You get mountains, beaches, and jungles all bundled together. But is it really worth that massive flight time? The ticket alone could fund a week in Asia.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's all about a unique travel strategy. You're absorbing a higher upfront flight cost, yes.
Right.
But you gain access to deeply rich South American cultural institutions at a fraction of the daily cost you'd spend in standard Western destinations.
So the daily savings pay off the expensive flight.
Precisely. And Paraguay illustrates this perfectly. Immersing in Guarani culture, soccer, and food is surprisingly cheaper than staying home.
The article talks about the capital, Asuncion, the Palacio de los Lopez lighting up at dusk, the Teatro Municipal,
Beautiful spots.
and Encarnacion, the capital de Carnaval, with a river beach serving as a base to visit the UNESCO-listed Jesuit Reducciones of Trinidad and Jesus. It's incredibly affordable with the Paraguayan guarani.
It's a strategy for the patient traveler, really.
Which brings us to the final destination, and the one that kind of broke my brain.
I think I know which one you mean.
We're moving to an African outlier, Zimbabwe.
Yes, this is where global finance gets incredibly nuanced.
The source notes a unique quirk. The official currency is actually the US dollar, alongside the Zimbabwean dollar. Yet, food and sightseeing are incredibly inexpensive.
It sounds contradictory.
So what does this all mean? The rupee goes very far here. You can see the thundering Victoria Falls, incredible cuisine and museums in Harar.
The wildlife is unparalleled, too.
Yeah. Safaris in Victoria Falls, Manipul, or Hwangju. You get them close with lions, leopards, hyenas, and see two majestic elephants playing in the dust at sunset. But seriously, how does a country using the US dollar stay cheap for the rupee? It feels like a glitch in the economic matrix.
I can hear the confusion. This raises an important question about the difference between the exchange rate and local purchasing power.
Explain that for me.
Because the local economy prices food and sightseeing so reasonably,
Yeah.
the actual amount of currency you part with is minimal. The underlying foundational costs are low.
So even if the bill is in USD, the actual number on the bill is tiny compared to, like, New York.
Exactly. It gives the rupee incredible staying power on a safari.
That is wild. It proves you have to look past the surface-level exchange rate. But before booking, the source mentions using tools like the Skyscanner travel budget calculator.
Currencies fluctuate, so you have to verify the math to ensure you're getting the best value.
For sure. But just think about this journey. Asian neighbors, South American jungles, African safaris. Which leaves me with a final thought for you, the listener. If currency strength dictates our travel paths, making certain cultures more accessible, how does that shape our worldview?
It's a profound question.
Will the pursuit of the strong rupee create a completely distinct, culturally diverse footprint for the modern Indian traveler compared to travelers with traditionally dominant currencies? Your wallet doesn't just dictate your hotel, it ultimately shapes your global perspective. So next time you open a menu overseas, you won't be doing anxious math, you'll just know you found a way to be exactly where you belong.